Hello, my name is Tanya Boyd, and this is my introductory video for SLP 560. I am currently a third grade teacher at Virginia Road Elementary, which is part of Los Angeles Unified School District. Values that are dear to me are I value honesty and I value a willingness to accept differences or others who are different. And I value those because I believe that if we are honest as individuals or human beings, that in recognizing that we're all different and that no one's perfect, then we should be able to accept when our neighbor appears to be different from us or lives outside of the social norm that's accepted by society. I tend to find friends or get along with people who have those same values because they're understanding and willing to accept my differences, and I value that. So I value that in my friendships. A highlight from my racial autobiography is that I first experienced racism at 8 years old while attending YMCA summer camp. And what happened was I went to my cabin, and I was the only African American child in my cabin. And I placed my stuff on the bed with some of the other girls that were in the cabin, and we ran out to go to the campfire area to get ready to sing songs and introduce ourselves to the other campers. But we walked back, or I ran back to the dorms to get something out of, or the cabin to get something out of my luggage. And when I got there, a new student or person was checking in or putting her stuff away. And she looked at me when she saw me getting my stuff off of the bunk, and she said, "You're in the wrong place. You're on the wrong bunk because there's no nigger who's going to take my space, and I want that space." I was shocked because I'd heard the word, but I'd always heard that it was a curse word, is a bad word. So I'm shocked because there was this 8-year-old girl cursing at me. And secondly, I was happily surprised that the other girls in the cabin immediately stopped what they were doing. And one girl, her name was Chrissy, I still remember, she stepped up and she said, "Hey, wait a minute, this is YMCA camp, and the C stands for Kristen, and we don't stand for that here." And the little girl who called me the name, she backed down, and she grumbled, but she backed down and moved her stuff to a different bunk, and we all ran out to campfire. And I happened to have an experience with the same little girl a year later at the same summer camp. We both found out that we had in common that we were terrified of horses at the time, and neither of us were willing to ride horses, which was what was planned for about 2 hours that day. And we both screamed bloody murder, and neither one of us would get on the horse or horses. So we had to end up sitting with each other, and we learned a little bit more about each other while we were sitting there. We never became fast friends, but we did. I no longer felt any animosity towards her, and I felt like she kind of looked at me as like, oh, she's African American, but I have something in common with her. So that was a very learning and interesting experience for me.